All right, so we are live. Well, I say live. This link is not out for anyone to watch live. So, so it is just whoever's watching this is watching this in the hindsight of the future. Hi, if you're watching this, this game was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community in the internet that gets together to play cool games, role-playing games, story games, indie games, OSR games, all that good fun. This game in particular, also, if you want to check out the Gauntlet, there's a link down below on the description, gauntlet-rpg.com. They have a really cool blog. They do a zine called Codex every month that has like cool supplements or original games. They just opened forums semi-recently, and they have the Hangouts calendar where this game was arranged. This game in particular is a free one single session game called the fictionalized memoirs of Harriette Wilson and her sisters. It rolls off the tongue. Written by story brewers role playing Haley Gordon and V Hendro. There's be a link down below as well. So this game is completely free. It is, as said, exploring the lives of a famous courtesan and her sisters, and the lovers and scandals and passions that they had in their storied career. But before we kind of get into like the game, before I start reading out some text and whatnot, let's kind of get to know us, the players here, because I'm playing as well, and not just facilitating. Yeah, so I'll ask you to introduce yourself and what pronouns you use. So, as an example, hi, my name's Leandro. I use he/him pronouns, and I don't have anything other else to say because I'm gonna be talking a lot. So I was gonna go by the order of the what I see on the screen, which is alphabetized to me, except for my own thing. Which, okay, that's. I assume most people watching this won't be using Google Hangouts, so I don't have to explain this. But David, would you kindly introduce yourself?
Certainly, yeah. So, yeah, my name is David. I use he/him pronouns. I'm based in the UK, and yeah, as we were just saying offline, I played a game with Leandro about like 2 hours ago. So this is a quick turnaround today.
Yeah, you're not giving me enough time to miss you. Um, next, someone here who's playing for the first time. Apparently, I'm pressure. There's pressure on me. There's not just no pressure on you. So sorry. Please introduce yourself.
I assume that's me. I assume
Yeah,
everyone else is
sorry.
playing. I'm Pearl, and I'm based in the US. And this is my first time participating in this sort of game online. I've done a bit in person, so I am cautiously enthusiastic. And the game sounds really neat, and I hope I don't mess it up.
I'm sure you'll be grand. I'm sure. But I know it. No, I'm not too sure. I know it. Last but not the least, Stephen.
Yes, I'm Stephen. Use he/him pronouns. I'm also based in the US, Washington, D.C. And I apparently last played with you in November. So good to see you again.
Yeah, it is honestly really good to see you. Away from the tradtastic confines of the Witcher RPG, something a bit more delicate. Well, I say delicate. Last time I played this game, it was heartrending. Doesn't mean we have to do. Doesn't mean this will be heartrending. It's just that there's a potential for that. But yeah, before we actually do get into the game, I do want to talk about safety tools we're using because here in the Gauntlet, we do want to make sure that we're playing in a comfortable environment and that people are having fun. That's the most important part. So we do have a bunch of safety tools that we're using today. I've mentioned off broadcast that to our players here that we use lines and veils. So basically, lines are things that won't be crossed. Like it won't show up in the fiction at all. Like it's not, it's we try not to do. We'll not go there, so to speak. And veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it. It happens off screen, or as the parlance goes, we throw a veil over it, and it'll happen, but we're not going to concentrate on it. There is a tab in the character keeper, the Google Sheets doc, that has lines and veils. It also has a link to the dice roller room. We will only be rolling one die in this game, and Also, rating. We'll talk about it in a moment because the uh, the other safety tool, the one recommended by when you read this game at the start, is actually it's a tool called Script Change by it's written by Brebo Sheldon of Thoughty Games. Basically, it's like a more elaborate. It's a bit more involved version of what we usually call the X card. But for Script Change, one we'll focus on. Basically, it is a way for people to like take control of what's happening in the fiction or how the fiction is flowing and just bring it up to their speed. So there's four like specific actions for it. There's rewind, where basically if you think we've struggled into a scene where that's made you uncomfortable or anything. So this is kind of like the basic how the X card works. If we strolled into a scene and it's something's made you uncomfortable for any reason, whether it's it reminds you of something or it's just something you don't want to deal with, you can say can we rewind that? And I might ask specifically what's being rewinded, but no one gets to question if it's played. Like it's played, that happens. And then I'll ask what's specifically being rewinded. We will roll back and start over again. Fast forward is basically, it is kind of the same veil of like throwing a veil over something. Like say we get to a scene, we got all we wanted. And if there's a bit more or there's something that we don't want to focus on, anyone can say, let's fast forward that and we'll just skip ahead to another point in the story. And there's pause, where basically if the scene is getting intense, this is kind of like an open door policy that I can put on my game. So basically, if for whatever reason you folks need to take a break at any time, whether it's because if there's an emergency happening, whether you're actually more tired than you thought and you just need to stop, or just even for a break at any time, like even for 5 minutes, because I have my designated break times ready. But for whatever reason, if you need a break, you say you want to pause the scene or just pause the action, and we will take a break. And yeah, and we'll respect that because as I said, the main thing is we would like to have fun and be comfortable and whatnot. Okay, so one thing I do, let me lay out the game and then let's talk about like kind of like rating, because that's the other thing that's kind of important. Let me just read out from the text a bit. So, Harriette Wilson was one of the most celebrated courtesans of the Regency era. When she reached her late 30s, she could no longer find men to lavish upon her the lifestyle she desired. So she developed an alternative business plan. She wrote and published a scandalous memoir revealing all the details of her intimacies. The memoir was published in 12 volumes. Between each, she wrote to her former lovers and generously offered the opportunity to be excluded from her work, provided, of course, they paid a substantial sum. So the memoir was a success, lucrative source of income, yada, yada, yada. Harriette had 3 sisters as well who shared her unusual profession, and in this game, we'll each take on the role of one of the 4 Wilson sisters, revisiting memories from their fictitious past as they write their memoirs together. We will also be playing several of the string of lovers who weave their way in and out of the sisters' lives. So, this game is about 4 courtesans and their lovers. But this is not a sexually graphic game. Instead, it's about relationships, about sisterhood, passage of time, romance, passions, all that, and all the complexities in the human heart. So, all right. So we have our character keeper, the sheets dock. We have like a D4 in our dice roller room. And all right. So the first thing we need to do is we are gonna each pick a sister. And we were going to be playing that sister for the rest of the game. And there's 4 of them, and they have broad descriptors. You can see there's like their place, their birth order, and 2 traits. So read all 4 sister sheets and then choose one. You and only you will play the sister for the rest of the game. Each sister has their own story to tell, their own joys, angers, passions, and persuasions swirled together in a misty soup of memory, and you'll make them your own. So every family has its history. This one is no different. All right, so let's kind of look at each one and tell me which ones are standing out to yourselves. I'll go last because I'm fine with any 4 of them. But Yeah, speak up if any one of them calling out to you.
I would say the two that speak to me more than the others are Amy and Sophia. So Amy, the eldest, fearless, jealous one, or Sophia, the youngest, reckless, married rich one. Sorry, but those are the. But I'm happy to play any of the four. So if people have strong opinions, that's also fine.
Yeah, no particularly strong opinions here. I'd say maybe Amy or Harriette, but not strongly.
Yeah, I also don't have a strong choice. It's
This is what happens when we're all very polite people.
right,
About to,
right.
about to get to play a game.
Well, no. I mean, it also happens when I'm just a little bit tired, and it makes me indecisive.
No, I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
So okay, I'd say since Dave, oh, I might start assigning stuff. David, you said you'd be fine with Harriet. Would you be fine? Would you be fine with Harriet?
Sure, sorry, I was muted.
Cool.
Okay.
And Tori, you
Harriet.
said you're. Oh, sorry. We're fine with Amy or Sophia. Care to make like a choice between the two? If I have to ask you right now in 5 seconds.
I'm so bad at deciding. I really am like it's my weakest point.
Okay.
Does anybody want one of them? I'll take the other one.
I mean, you can always just roll a die and do odds or evens.
That is true.
This is a good excuse for you to use roll for your party for the first
I know.
time.
I have it called up. My internet came back. Hooray.
Oh,
Hey!
I don't know what the problem was before. So I do have it called up in a tab. I've never used it before, so that's
right.
an exciting
Oh,
thing.
Okay.
Right.
But
Right. So choose one of the die numbers, and then just type like a 1 in front of it, and then click the submit button.
okay.
So
One.
we'll say
Submit.
odds Amy and Sophia evens.
So then I'm Sophia.
Nice.
I got 2. So
I need to refresh this. All right. So okay. So you Sophia. Steven, you want to be Amy? The elder?
Sure.
All right, and I'll take Fanny then, the nice one, apparently. Okay, so if you see there, all right, so put your name at the top there, your name and pronouns. Maybe have to edit that.
okay.
Yeah, at the top of the.
I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we'll kind of so you got those like 2 traits and like the birth order, but like we'll make them our own as we play, as game says. So after this, every family has its history. This one is no different. We're gonna form a relationship to each other's sister by filling out the relationships on your sheet. So you see those X's there. So basically, you're gonna have one relationship per sister, and that's how you relate to them. So I'll give you like a moment to like read the choices there. They're all the same for each sister.
Wait. I just realized when I'm clicking on things, that's changing it for all of you as well, right?
Yeah.
How do I pick which one specifically each sister is to me?
Well, you can ask.
I mean, how do I indicate it on the sheet?
Change the X to the sister's name.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry, I was not.
No worries.
That should have been obvious, but okay.
So like if you have like a preference of like which sister you want for, you don't have to fill out all those relationships, just three of them, since well, you got three sisters now.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah. Looks like Amy and I have some situations going on here.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh man, that's
I wonder how that's gonna play out.
yeah, and like we can hash out what it is now or later if there's no like big idea. Like I don't have a preference. We can play to find out, so to speak.
Anonymous narwhal. What does that mean?
That just means like yeah, you don't know who's typing who. That's just how Google
Okay.
Google Focus work. The only person you'll see is my you probably seeing my face because this is my yeah, because this is my copy of this doc.
It's
And I
like
can't yeah, and I can't take credit for this doc. This was
no,
made
no.
by yeah. Sometimes there's a anonymous Nyan cat, and it's like, oh my god, that's an old meme. Oh, I'm missing one person.
I hope at some point I get to be nice to someone. Thus far, I'm seeming like not very nice at all, but that's quite all right. It's just I'm like, oh dear, I'm just taking people down bad paths and stealing people's rightful things and all kinds of. I suppose that's what being young and reckless and married to a rich fellow leads to. But
I just noticed no one has a nice relationship with you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I was like, oh, I didn't.
I might rectify that honestly. Like, well, you
It's
could have me
okay.
being nice. No,
I
no.
mean, maybe I'm just a mean person. Like, that does happen. I have a whole side of my family I don't talk to anymore. You know,
That's fair.
sometimes you're related to yucky people.
Yeah.
But
All right. So we have
oh,
our
look, you did.
sisters.
That's nice. It's because you're the second youngest, kind-hearted sister that you gave me a nice role. You're already
Yeah.
a character.
Yeah, exactly. Look, that's just me being nice. Some folks might say that I only play mean people, and those folks are wrong. All right, so we're moving on from we made our sisters, and now time for their lovers. So in their time as courtesans, the sisters had many lovers. Some were notable, others nobles, some were sweethearts, and others scoundrels. Some were shared between the sisters, and others secret and jealously guarded. But all could afford the lifestyle the sisters required. We will now create them together. So this is the point where we just like fact historical accuracy. We don't give two rats behinds about that. The lovers you create may be male, female, non-binary, and use any pronouns or presentation you wish. Just kind of like have to vaguely fit the Regency era setting, the Austen-esque setting that we have. So unlike the sisters, though, the lovers will be played by different people as the game progresses. So there's an example there in Lover One. Just give that a small read, and then I'm gonna delete that because I don't know if we're gonna stick with uh, a yeah. I don't know if we're gonna stick with Miss Maribel Wilcox, but that's kind of like the example of what we have there, Lover in Lover One. But I'm gonna delete that for
I
now.
generally avoid lovers with small, cruel eyes and sly smiles, like when I'm.
Yeah, that should be a warning.
But
All right, so I'll delete that. Maybe some other time, Miss Wilcox. Okay, so what we're gonna do is each player takes one lover sheet. So we'll take the one that's underneath our sister, the sister we're playing, and all right, on this sheet we're gonna write the name and pronouns of a lover, including any titles they may hold, like Duchess, Doctor, or Lord. So like any name, and their pronouns.
okay. If you'll pardon me for just 1 second, my dog would like to come on the bed and is small and is crying sadly because he cannot get up. Just one
Don't
moment.
worry.
Milo, come here, bud. Milo, come here. I'm not running around the room. I'm in the middle of a game. Come here.
Oh, if only pets can understand. We're busy. We're very busy people.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
Well,
He also
welcome
needed
back.
water. Thank
No
you.
worries. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we are gonna. It says here we're gonna pass the sheet to the left. So we are gonna go to the left of the lover that we gave a name. So that means like you have yourself, Stephen. Go back to number 4, and we are gonna write an occupation for the lover on our left.
So if mine's already listed as being a colonel, that's like his
It
job, or is he
could
retired?
could be, or could be retired.
Hmm.
I mean, doctor could mean any kind of doctor, practicing doctor, a doctor of law. Hmm.
Wait, did I do the wrong one? I did. I went to the right instead of the left.
Oh, okay.
I will move that. Ignore that. All right. I'm back to Lady Maria Kuznetsoya. Okay.
I might give her a different name.
No, that's good.
So,
Kuznetsoya. I just needed to zoom in a smidge. That's all.
no worries.
All right. Occupation.
Ooh. All right. So we've got a dashing one, a stuffy one, a entertaining one, and a scoundrel. Okay.
Exciting.
All right. So then we pass to the left again, and we're gonna write a single sentence about the lover's appearance.
Dr. Oliver Cox. It's a great name. I'd just like to say. Dr. Oliver Cox. That's an excellent name. I'm just pleased. Okay.
All right. Slightly oily, I see. All right, so we're gonna do the process again with the column down below. We go back to, the row down below. We'll go back to the column we were, and yeah, we're gonna start again. I would like a nice big pool of a diverse pool of lovers to pick from. Like IRL, this would be like we'd cut up the sheets and it would just be like a pile of papers you pick up. But here we're just gonna roll a die. But yeah, name and pronouns.
Okay.
I've been playing too much like fantasy or sci-fi stuff. I have to think of real names now for real people.
I'm trying to think of the wording I want, and I'm failing. Like a purposefully androgynous, not really shifting back and forth, non-binary person, but someone who very specifically is off the binary and androgynous. Is there like a good word for that? I've known people who are like that, and but I don't know how they self-identify, and I don't want to get it wrong.
So like a gender fluid person, you say, or
Sort of the opposite of that, like not
okay,
fluid, sort of fixed in androgyny,
okay,
never really presenting one way or the other.
yeah.
I think given the period, it would be hard to. The way we've got it phrased is pronouns, and it would be hard for somebody in the period not to have a particular set of pronouns.
Yes, I thought we
Unless we
were
want to
sort of throwing
unless we
that
want to
out.
unless we want to go ahistorical, which is fine.
Yeah, we can go. Yeah, go on.
I'm happy not to. I thought that, like,
Right.
because it was indicated that.
No. I'm just. I'm just thinking out that about how to do this in the context.
I mean, it seems to me like, in my mind, the way to do it without being too ahistorical would be that they would still use a set of pronouns, but among their more intimate contacts, it would be known that they were not quite so.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know what I mean? But
right.
I don't know. I was just trying to throw in some more variety, give some
Right.
representation. You know.
Yeah, I getcha. Yeah, like the one time I played this game beforehand, we did have like a non-binary count as well, who, who did they give someone a child? I'm not sure. It was tragic. I just remember people were crying when.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, you could put public pronouns, private pronouns.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's cool. All right. So we switch to the left. Actually, you know what? Maybe this time we'll switch to the right, just to add some variety.
Charles Martin.
Right. All right. And we switch to the right again for appearance.
guess that's not actually not an appearance thing. Okay.
All right, fab. So I think, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so these are the lovers who appear in your game. Each in turn will either pay up or find their juicy details of their lives immortalized in the sisters' memoirs. So we'll be drawing randomly to determine who appear in each scene. We'll use that with the dice roller. But before we do that, yeah, I think we're ready to play the game.
I feel like one of these people is like an amalgamation of some of my actual past lovers. It's kind of like I'm amused at the way it's turned out. I'm like, oh yes, that one. Well, I can give some scenes from how that played out.
Well, at least you're probably not much like Sophia Wilson. Hopefully.
No, I'm not like her at all, which is one of the reasons that I wanted to pick her. I feel like if I pick characters that are too close to myself, I don't have to think, and it doesn't end up being as interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to be a character that's totally different, that makes me think about all of my choices. What would she do?
Yeah.
She may not be as fond of people like Lindsay Evans as I am, but we'll see as the game plays on.
Yeah. So all right. So in this game, each sister will take turns to explore their connection with a specific lover. But as they do, the relationships between their sisters will also be thrust into focus. So each turn begins in the present, so to speak, as a sister sends a letter of blackmail to one of the lovers. We then flash back to a pivotal moment in their relationship. So, and here's some principles that the game has. So just like when you play the game, be as flippant, irreverent, and courageous as Harriette herself, but be tender, jealous, mournful, and wistful too. For no matter our wishes, our hearts just can't help but feel. So Harriette takes the first turn of the game. Sorry, Harriette. If you check you see at the very top, you see sister token, lover token. Whoever's the check mark is the active sister, is active sister and the active lover. So yeah, Harriette takes the first turn, and the person to Harriette's left will play the first lover. And each turn consists of 3 phases. There is the demand, where the lover receives a letter from the active sister containing a scandalous demand of money. This phase is skipped if the active sister has already written to this lover. And then the past, a scene from the sister's past exploring the beginning, middle, or end of their relationship with the lover. And then the decision, which is a return to the present day, and the lover decides whether or not they wish to pay up to be omitted from the memoir. Each of these phases describe more details. So okay. So let's see. So Harriette, David, if you go to the roll for a party, just roll me a D8.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yep.
Did we want to do the lines and veils?
Oh,
or is that later?
I tend to not to shout them out on broadcast.
Okay.
Keep an eye on them. I kind of want to do that before broadcast, but not much time. No worries.
Okay.
If you
I can just quietly add one, and then if people want to look at it, but
yeah.
Okay.
Just you can say in the chat here in the Google Hangouts chat if you added something. Okay, so all right, so yeah, roll D8. Okay, that's a 1. All right, so that means Stephen, you'll be playing Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson. Oh my God. Sorry, that's a lot of names. The active sister composes aloud a letter to the lover about the delicate subject of the upcoming memoir and their inclusion within it. So the letter should set the tone of the relationship between the sister and the lover. It may also reveal clues about their time together. Then the lover will describe a short vignette in which they receive and open the letter. There's an example kind of letter in the PDF, 2 paragraphs long. It doesn't have to be terribly long or terribly scandalous.
Still here. Still here.
No
Sorry.
worries. Yeah. So how this phase starts is that David, as Harriet, you're going to be writing a letter to Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson Trent. I can't not say all those names every time I speak of them.
Just wait till you get to mine.
Oh God. Yeah. So I'll give you a moment to like think, David, what letter, what sort of what sort of relationship you might have had with Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson Trent.
Yeah. So I think the letter reads, "Dear Colonel, I am currently working upon memoirs of my various experiences and exploits over the short years of my life so far. I cannot help but think of the time that you took me up the Khyber Pass, and we the Eastern delights we shared in during our time there together. I think it would make a most titillating chapter in my memoirs. Of course, I know that with your appointment to the crown and such like, you may wish not to receive the additional notoriety of featuring in my book. I would, of course, be. It would be a great shame if I were not able to share so intriguing a story with the world. I feel it would be a most excellent selling point for this book. And so, but if you would wish to be left out, I will of course accept. Though a small token of your appreciation would of course be most welcome. Yours ever, Harriette Wilson.
Yes, and Harriet, of course, sends this letter to the Explorers Club with Colonel Trent's name written in very large letters on the envelope, and it is brought to him in the sitting room, and naturally, everyone is too polite to say anything, but several of them noticed the name. I mean, she of course wrote her name on the envelope as well. Several of them noticed the letter, which the servant brought to him face up for some reason. He will speak to the president of the club later about this, but there are several eyes on him as he sits in as he sits in the lounge and receives the letter, and he cracks the seal, pulls the letter out, and as he reads it, he's like, "Incredible, fantastic, the Khyber Pass. What the devil?" And he angrily crumples the letter up and thrusts it into his pocket and stalks out of the room.
All right.
Delightful.
Yeah. Go on. You have a question?
Just gameplay. Are we supposed to do a scene before the decisions, or am I?
Um,
Is that like?
yeah. We can get to the decision later. I think this knee-jerk reaction still
I love it.
stands.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
no, I
great.
thought that was delightful, brilliant.
Yeah. So we'll see what the decision is after the scene. So that's the next phase, the past. So in this phase, the active sister frames a flashback between themselves and the lover, and then we then see how this scene plays out. So the active sister. So first we'll decide when in the relationship the scene occurs. So the active sister decides when in the relationship this scene will occur: the beginning, the middle, or the end. Um. So Harriet, what's this scene you kind of want to see between yourselves and Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson Trent?
I think given the reaction of the colonel to the letter, I think I'm interested in seeing the end of this relationship.
All right. So Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson Trent, please mark the end box there, and write down sister. That would be Miss Harriette Wilson, and then the next part is we determine the focus of the scene. So there are 4 different ways this scene could be the focus of. And if you don't mind, Harriet, roll a d4.
Certainly. Where I can find the tab. There we go. That's a 4.
All right. So the 4 is there's a table on the next page. This scene involves more than one lover. Okay. So we'll follow the steps below to introduce the second lover. The player to the left of the current lover. So that means you, Pearl.
Hooray! An excellent start.
Yes. The player to the left, the current lover, draws a lover sheet at random to determine who the second lover will be. So roll me a d8.
D8. Okay. I just put a 1 on the D8
Yep.
box. Okay. Submit. I think I've done that wrong somehow. Although I don't know how it would go wrong. D4, D6, D6P, and D8. 1 where D8 is. Submit. Something is amiss. Let me reset this. Hold on a second.
No worries. Oh yeah,
It's giving me a bunch of...
We do have our own roll for a party in the. I forgot to mention it's in the character keeper in the Google Sheets as well. We do have our own roll for a party room. If you go to Lines and Veils, there's the. Is that what you're using or?
I used a link from somewhere,
Okay.
but I've cleared it out now, so I think it should be fine. And I got 7.
All right, I'm fine with that. Like people use regular dice for themselves. So you're playing Alexandra Hyde, the actress in her early days. Yeah. All right.
All right.
So they will play this. Yeah, you will play this lover. If the lover has not appeared in a scene with the active sister before, you're gonna repeat the demand. Yeah. So sorry, David. You have to write another letter to Alexandra.
Yes. So the letter will read, dear Alexandra, how are you, you dear old thing? It has been simply ages since I've seen you in a production upon the stage, and hopefully one day we will be able to see you in one again. I write to you as I was reminded the other day I wrote to our dear old friend Colonel Trent, and it reminded me of that evening we spent in the royal box at the opera house. I am writing a brief memoir of my life, and I have no doubt that this story will form a part of it. I am sure that a lady of your talents will not mind seeing your name in public once again. But of course, should you rather I be discreet about our time together, you have but to let me know, and I will, of course, omit your name from the memoirs. I may, I would certainly not mind in such a case receiving a small gift as well, as a token of our remembrance for our time together. Yours ever, Harriette Wilson.
Well, so I think I am in my green room before getting ready to perform in a local production, because I am a bit past my prime, but still taking myself very seriously. And I get this envelope, similarly marked with garishly large and very obvious letters as to who it's for. And I cannot believe that after all of this time, while I'm simply trying to continue my career, that Harriet would disrupt my method. How could she even have sent me such a thing when I'm trying to be in character in 5 minutes in front of the whole library society of the town? I thought, that we had shared something special in that opera box. We shared a great many things, and I would not. I simply just, it offends all the senses to receive such a thing at this time. But the show must go on, so I will have to revisit it later.
God, Harriette Wilson knows how to keep them, doesn't she?
Cool.
All right. All right. The active sister decides when in the relationship with the second lover this scene, which is the same scene with the first lover, will occur. So if this is occurring at the end of your relationship with Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson Trent, where is this in the relationship with your relationship with Alexandra Hyde?
I'm torn between middle or beginning. I think I'm going to say middle.
All right. So,
are we in the opera box?
Hey. All right. So, Alexandra, mark the middle there, and kind of sister as your lover number 7. So, note on the sister as Harriet, and mark in the middle. Okay. So yeah, we got the focus of our scene. The scene involves 2 lovers. This will totally not be awkward in any way whatsoever. What I like about this game is sometimes I don't even have to do anything. I just let you all explode all the fireworks. So now we get to framing the scene. The active sister frames the scene. After all, this is her life, her story, her perspective. She decides where the scene takes place, how it starts, and if multiple lovers or sisters are involved, when each enters and exits. So, Harriet, what do you think the scene looks like?
Yes. So I think the scene is in the As I say, it's in the royal box at the Opera House. I think her and the Colonel are there. There's a bottle of champagne in a cooler, and a tray of oysters laid out. The performance is part way through, and I think the scene starts when I'm blanking on names. Alexandra enters the box at Harriette's invitation.
So I'm not in the production. I'm an audience member.
I think for this one you're an audience
Okay.
member.
Okay, is Colonel Trent already in the box?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And I have a question. Is the royal box in the UK, is that something that would ordinarily be used by the royal family, or is that just a name for?
It probably would be used by the royal family when they're in attendance, but I think it is kind of just available for hire.
Right. Okay. It's not like Harriet wasn't using her connections with the royal family to get into this box or anything. It's just bought tickets.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's just the Colonel bought the most expensive tickets because that is how this relationship works.
Yeah.
An ostentatious show of wealth.
Yes.
And have the Colonel and I met previously, or am I coming in at your invitation and meeting him for the first time?
I'd say this is possibly at least probably the first time you've met in the context of Harriette. Whether or not you've met socially before.
Right, but like if you want to establish something different, if you have like if it was part of your concept, that would be fine. You could always say, "Oh, I ran into him leaving Harriet's house that one time," or something. If you wanted to play it that way, we can always establish things about our characters if it will be interesting.
I think Pearl has frozen up.
Yes, that does look frozen.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. Okay, give her a few minutes.
Yeah.
Assuming the data plan ran out. Yeah. Hold on, let me check Slack just in case. There.
Okay, I'm going to go make a cup of tea while we wait.
Yeah, okay.
Hello? Are people?
Hi, sorry.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm assuming your data plan ran out.
No, my iPad, which is plugged in, ran out of battery.
Uh,
I'm starting to think this is haunted. I don't even understand what's happening today.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No worries, no
So
worries.
I'm on the laptop with the internet, which is functional at the moment.
Let's hope it stays functional. Yeah, no
This
worries.
is not usual for me, I swear.
No worries. Yeah, look, it just it happens. We're no strangers to weird internet mess ups. There was a period in October where I had a game on every Tuesday, and there's an exact moment at every session where my internet would go out. So I'll be like in the 10 minutes leading up to the exact. It's always the same time as well.
Really?
So like, all right, guys, you might want to sideline my character because in 10 minutes I'm gonna lose internet, and so it's just weird. It just happens. So Steven went off to make some tea for the moment.
Okay, I apologize. I had no warning. It just like shut off.
No worries.
So
It just happens. We'll roll with it.
I lead a cursed existence. That is, some past life I definitely was a Harriette-like figure. But
Well, we don't know if Harriet's the worst of these four.
that's true. It's actually probably my actual character is the worst anyway. But
You don't have to play reckless as terrible. Like,
no, just in her relationships, like
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just giving my iPad the side eye. It can do whatever it wants over there, pretending like it's not plugged in and dying. That's fine.
That was a game of go get something probably. All right. So, oh yeah. The end state of this game. The game ends when a lover is drawn that has completed a beginning, middle, and end, or only one lover sheet remains. I'm not sure what that means. I think that means something in the context of physical. I think when one lover has not been drawn at all. I think that's what it means.
Yeah.
There's a mechanism for removing lover sheets from the game. So it's like when all but one lover sheet has been removed from the game, it ends.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it says here, like, yeah, a lover's drawn that has the other end state is a lover's drawn has completed a beginning, middle, and end. So I think you don't really remove them. I think they all just stay in the same pile.
There were like different instructions depending on whether they accepted the bribe or not. So if they bribe, they get thrown out,
Right.
and if they don't, they get put back in to possibly have further encounters.
Oh yeah, let me look at that.
Right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you refuse to pay 3 times.
Right.
Oh no, it says here, yeah. If they pay up, the lover sheet is removed from the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If they pay up.
If they don't pay up, then you add a detail to the sheet.
Yes.
And
then they go back into the pile. Okay. All right. Okay, no, that makes sense. Because that rule of only one lover sheet was not in the version that I played, so I was a bit confused. But all right, cool. All right, so that's what it means, right? Only one lover left. So you pay up, you're gone from the game. All right. Okay, everyone's back. Trying to remember what we were discussing for iPad. Decided to go.
We were about to have a scene in the royal box at the opera.
Yeah, I think we were discussing whether Alexandra and the Colonel have met before.
Yes.
Colonel Arthur.
Did we come to a consensus while my iPad was betraying me?
No, we decided to let the betrayal happen and wait it out. So.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you want to have happened. If you want to know him, that's fine. If you don't want to, if you want this to be the first encounter, that's fine. It's sort of we might as well play to find out,
All right.
unless it would help you to know in advance. In which case, you can just state your preference.
Oh, I just didn't know if Harriette had a specific dynamic between the three of us.
Right.
I like I said, I was thinking this is probably the first time they've met, like in Harriette's presence.
That's right.
But
Okay.
not necessarily the first time they've met.
Right. I mean, you might well be aware that I'm Harriette's lover, but not through us having the three of us having been together, but like seeing me leave her house or something. If you want to play it that way, or this could be a complete surprise.
Oh, I think I have something.
I guess probably not a complete surprise since you're entering the box when I'm there. So you probably know that I'm your lover, that I'm the lover already. But okay.
I think I have something in mind.
Yes.
All right.
Good. Okay, so play the scene, shows what happens, and the active sister decides when the scene is over. So as a reminder, Alexandra is in the middle of a relationship with Harriette, a time when the two lives are deeply entwined, and Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson Trent, I'll remember that, is at the end, the final moments of the relationship, whether they know it yet or not. So,
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to knock on the door of the royal box.
Oh, Alex, is that you?
Etta, darling.
Alex.
Yes.
You asked me to
Do
come,
come in.
yes?
Yes, of course.
Harriette, what is this?
Have you not met? This is Alexandra Hyde,
darling.
a most
Yes.
prominent actress.
Indeed, your reputation precedes you.
Colonel Trent, I'm shocked you not remember having met me before. I certainly remember having met you.
Madam.
I mean, you've long been a patron of the theater. Do you not remember any place in which you might have met an actress? Stayed after the show? Bought a few roses to bring backstage?
Madam, I beg of you to be discreet.
Well, we're in this box together, and I think all of us know why we're here, don't we? Etta, why did you ask me to come up?
Well, I thought you'd rather enjoy the performance.
I do love a good show.
Indeed.
Don't you, Colonel?
I enjoy watching a good show. I'm afraid that being a participant in one, that being the comic relief in someone else's drama is more than I can take. Harriette, you must have known how intolerable I would find such a scene.
Oh, dear Arthur, I thought it might, liven things up a little if we, had.
Harriette, I am raising money for my expedition. I cannot afford a scandal at this time.
Etta, how do you manage to carry on with someone like this?
Oh, believe me, he has his moments. I just thought.
He had one or two after the show, when we met. But do you sustain this? Really? Such histrionics. There's no one here. It's just us. And surely you're aware of how enamored of each other Etta and I are. She must have told you.
Harriet. I never thought I would say such a thing. But at this moment, I could go to the deepest depths of Timbuktu if it meant that I would never see you again. And in fact, I do believe I shall. And he bows deeply.
I suppose he doesn't like to watch so much after all.
No, it's such a shame. Dear Colonel, if you're sure we can't persuade you to stay and enjoy our company a little longer, then perhaps it might be best if you took a holiday away.
I do hear Timbuktu's lovely this time of year.
You ladies, it has been a pleasure to have made your acquaintance. When we meet again, it shall be as strangers. And
Yeah. You've already forgotten me one.
flounces out of the box in what he imagines is a dignified manner, but which completely is not, and slams the door.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
Yes, that was
Heavens.
most disagreeable, but still, the champagne is rather good. And
There's no reason to waste the oysters. Good show.
Indeed.
Lovely box.
Quite. And I think that's where we'll end the scene.
Wow. Wow.
This is delightful.
Poor Colonel.
Sorry.
I mean,
am I being too mean? I can.
No, I don't think that's possible.
Okay.
God. All right. Okay. So the last phase, the decision. After the flashback, we return to the present, to the scene of the lover reading the letter, or a similar scene if that was skipped. So so your reaction to that. So the lover now dictates a reply to the sister's letter explaining whether or not they wish to pay up to be omitted from the memoirs. If they pay up, their lover sheet is removed from the game. Throw it on the floor or tear it into pieces, or in the online equivalent case, I'm just gonna fill it with a different color. And it is of no importance in the memoir. So if you do not pay up, the active sister writes a juicy detail about that lover on their sheet. This detail will be included in the memoir. And if this lover is drawn again, this detail is available to incorporate into the scene. So this is going to go for both lovers. So let's start with Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson Trent. What's the reply?
Yeah. Dear Miss Wilson, while it is true that we did encounter each other during your late tour of India, to my knowledge, you never traveled any further north than Darjeeling. And to say that we had any sort of encounter in the Khyber Pass is rank fantasy. I see that your memoirs are not scrupulously adhere to documented facts. I strongly suggest that you consult with a solicitor before including any invented salacious details in your memoir. I shall certainly be consulting with mine. Sincerely, with best wishes for your continued well-being, Colonel Arthur Edwin Jameson Trent.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Where does that fall in the so he's not paying up, but
Right. Yes.
He's lawyering.
Stays in.
Yeah.
He's lawyering up, man. All right.
So before we get to the other lover, Harriet, what's the juicy detail about the Colonel?
Oh, yes, I think I think. Oh no, that's the wrong box. It's that one there. I think that the detail I'm going to add there is that we had a tryst in the howdah on an elephant during a tour of India.
Scandalous.
That's quite athletic. Sorry.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean, for the elephant.
I'll
Okay.
amend that too, because obviously I suppose it's possible that
Nice. And Miss Hyde.
Ah, yes. All right. So let me compose my response. Etta, darling, it's so lovely to hear from you. I admit I was a bit taken aback to receive your letter, as I was deeply in character about to go on stage when it arrived, and you know how serious I am about my theatrical pursuits. But now that I've had some time to reflect on it, I think actually it would be a lovely thing to be able to read and enjoy the memories of our exploits together for many years to come. It's been far too long as it is. And, of course, any publicity is good publicity. So, thank you for writing, and I'm so glad you thought of me, and I think of you just as fondly. And that night in the opera box, it stands alone amid many memories that we've had as just the pinnacle, I think, of the loveliness between us. So please, by all means, spare no details, and do send me a signed copy of the book. With much love and affection, always. Your dear Alex.
nice.
Those two deserve each other.
Yeah.
What?
and I think the detail I'm going to add is that we recreated the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet
How lovely.
with Harriette dressed in a guardsman's uniform.
Ooh. Delightful.
Nice. Oh, that's fun. All right. So that's the general idea of a turn in this game. And we'll keep playing until, the two end game slots. Yeah, either a lover's drawn that's complete a beginning, middle, and end scene, or only one lover's sheet remains. Although, well, we'll see how the other sisters fare. I don't know if there's anyone who'd be willing to pay up Harriet, given the carry on that she's doing. All right.
Depend on the story, really.
Yeah. She must be tender with some people. All right. So ending the turn, the sister token moves to the left. So that means we're now going to Amy, and uncheck that one with Harriet. And the lover token then moves to the left, skipping the new active sister. And if the last scene involved two lovers, the player of the second lover. So we're gonna skip you, Pearl, and oh hey, it comes to me. So I get to play the lover now. Before we start the second turn, I was planning this before on anyway, but can we take a 5-minute break? Because I need to stand up and stretch my legs as well. So that's all right.
Sure.
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm just casually noting that it still says we're live, and that someone watching this is about to experience 5 minutes of nothing. Sorry. Okay, bye. Are we back?
I think we're just waiting for David. I once asked him what is the name of that pony, and I've forgotten. I feel like I need to ask again and again. Every time I see this pony.
I took a short moment at the beginning of our break to tell all the people who ostensibly are watching this continue to be live that they were just going to have to enjoy 5 minutes of nothing. I hope that's all right. I didn't know how it worked, but I was like, it says we're still alive.
Yeah, no, it'll remain live.
Away.
You've
Bye.
honestly been more considerate than I've ever been in these. I never say like, yeah, 5 minutes of silence, it'll be grand. We just say, oh, break. Because look, as much as I'd like for people to be an audience be watching this, it's
it's funny. Like, I'm in the entertainment industry for a living, so I'm used to like people either are watching me or they aren't.
Okay.
If that makes sense, like. So it's back in 5. Like, I just felt the need to make some sort of weird intermission announcement.
Yeah. I get you.
I'm an odd duck. Just roll with it.
Yeah. All right. So
all right.
We're all back. And all right. So we're gonna go to the turn.
No, Amy.
No, we skip over. So yeah, all the tokens go left.
The sister, right?
No, we go left from Harriette. So we're going to Amy.
Right. I'm the sister, and the andro is going to play the lover.
Yes, because the lover was Stephen, but it skips. If there was a second lover, it skips them over as well. So probably got skipped. So it's just gonna be.
I'm perfectly satisfied with my experience as Alexandra Hyde. So.
Yes. Well, and I rolled a 7, so Alexandra is back.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so I get to play Alexandra now.
Enjoy following up my
All right. Okay, it'd be hard to follow that.
To seeing your interpretation of my character.
That's the cool thing of playing multiple characters.
Yes. So yeah, let's see.
How's his fearless?
Yeah. Dear Alexandra, as you know, my sisters and I have embarked on a memoir of our past experiences, which has received some small amount of notoriety. You, I know, are no stranger to idle gossip, and I am sure you will not mind if we include some of our, shall we say, more interesting, the more interesting anecdotes of our time together. It does occur to me that, however, there are 1 or 2 incidents that you might wish to see omitted. In particular, the account of the garden party where your rival Lucinda Barnes suffered such an embarrassing injury with the wild swan. As far as I know, the true story of how she came to be injured and was forced to withdraw from the part of Juliet has never been told, and I am sure it would be of great interest to the public although it might cause you some small amount of embarrassment. Dearest Alexandra, I am torn. I feel that the public deserves to know such an amusing and delightful story. Yeah, and yet, I feel I must offer you the opportunity to convince me to omit this really charming and delightful and yet embarrassing to you in a professional way. Please tell me what I should do. If there's any inducement you wish to offer, I would be most grateful. I would be most grateful for your guidance. Your beloved Amy Wilson.
So I think this letter arrives the day after Alexandra's rousing performance from the library community. She's still kind of high from the praise. She's drinking probably earlier than she should have when the letter arrives, and it's amusing how. Oh, sorry. It's amusing how like it's not a complete contrast between the glorious script that Harriette Wilson had. It's and when Alexandra sees the name, and she kind of recognizes who it'd be from just the punchiness, just like not matter of fact, but just the straightforwardness of just the penmanship. She knows exactly who it is, so she cracks open the letter as she's drinking wine and gives it a read. So, where in the relationship would this scene be?
I think at the beginning.
All right. So, roll a d4 and what's the focus?
I guess that's a 1. So the focus is a conflict between the sister and the lover, or a relationship between the sisters.
Ooh.
Let's see. It involved.
I mean, you're Alexandra Hyde now, but I imagined as I was playing her that she probably enjoyed time with all of the sisters. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that caused some problems somewhere along the line.
I mean, I feel like I want to drag Harriette into this scene.
So that means you're activating like your relationship with Harriette, which is
Right.
She saved you at a time.
Harriette saved me in a time of crisis.
Do you have to use, like, when we have those marked, because we're going to be doing multiple scenes with each other potentially, do you have to always reference the thing that you have checked off?
Yeah, it says there in the scene table, the active sister chooses one of her relationships. This is the moment where it was formed.
Wait, what?
In the PDF, if you go to scene table, pass number 2, the scene involves a lover, but it's really about the relationship between the sisters, and the active sister chooses one of her relationships. Right. This is the moment when it's formed. So it does kind of have to be, yeah.
Okay. So if you did another scene with the same sister, you would still have to be about that same aspect of the relationship, or would you just not do 2 scenes with the same sister?
Yeah. I think you would choose a different sister if that came up again.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure what would happen if if you rolled that 4 times and you ran out of relationships. But
Yeah.
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. So I just realized if Alexandra pops up again in the next turn, the game is over because she only has to check off one more.
I mean, we can overrule that though, right? Like, I will
Yeah.
be very sad if our game ends after one more turn and we never get to meet the coal-eyed composer fellow.
Yeah.
Well,
see.
no. I mean, you have to draw the character 4 times.
Oh yes, 4 times.
It has to happen four times because
Yes.
they all have to be filled out when you draw the character.
Oh yes.
Right.
My mistake.
So, yes.
Okay, so with Harriet then, what does the scene look like?
I think this happens at this scene happens at the garden party that I was just talking about, and there's this. It's in the aftermath of the injury when Lucinda has just been bitten by a swan, and I have Alexandra's hand in mine, and we're sort of rushing. We're rushing away from the scene of the, let's call it the scene of the crime, and we encounter Harriette.
Okay, so I think as we're kind of rushing before you meet Harriet, I think Alexandra's kind of like, well, the Wilsons certainly know how to show a girl a good time.
Yes, but do you think anyone saw us?
Well, if they saw us, then we shall merely become legends in their eyes. But let's not.
I didn't expect her. I mean, I expected the swan to frighten her, but to injure her in such a sensitive area.
Oh, that's just Lucinda's way, always inviting more hurt than expected. That's just her nature, dear Amy. Don't fret about it.
Harriette.
Amy, my word, you look quite put apart, and this must be the young Miss Hyde, about whom we've
Miss
heard.
Alexandra Hyde, at your service. And
oh yes, she is absolutely the most ravishing Juliet, Harriette. Have you seen her perform yet? You must. I tell you, you must. You absolutely must. Am I right, Alexandra? Mustn't she?
oh, my dear Amy, you're such a flatterer. Even though everything you say is completely true.
Yes, well, as delightful as it is to meet you both, I really think it's best we make a sharp exit. I was admiring the view in the gazebo when I happened to notice, well, that whole business with the swan. I never knew that it was possible to get them to go off like that. I suppose it's surprising what little persuasion can do.
Swans are very hot-tempered. They seem so serene, and yet the slightest provocation can set them off into a furious rage.
I was quite unsure what would happen, but dear Amy simply, we were curious. And it just so happened Lucinda Bonds was there, and fate intervened.
Yes, well, that's not that's not quite all that intervened. I have to say the
Oh,
the
Harriet.
gardener was watching the whole thing. Well, would have been watching the whole thing, but he found himself mysteriously distracted at the time. Well, 2 times actually, but
Oh, Harriet.
My
I
favorite.
think-
And I embrace Harriet. Oh, my darling. You have saved us.
Yeah, I think Alexandra gives off a theatrical.
Brilliant. This is definitely my favorite game.
Yeah, Alexandra gives off that. Oh, you Wilsons. However, can I repay you for your act of chivalry?
oh well, I'm sure just a chance to see you as Juliet will be payment enough, my dear.
Oh,
And of course, I would do anything for my dear big sister.
oh, yes. You must come see Juliet, and afterwards, I know the most delightful social club. You must allow us to take you. You must. You simply must.
That sounds simply divine.
Well, we've seen enough of your kindness and your bond with your sister, Miss Wilson. But, hey, dear Amy, we simply must abscond. Our performance of Rolling Dream was simply interrupted, although that interruption was quite delicious. But we must abscond the premises.
Yes. Yes. Let us go, my dear Alexandra. I am sure this is the beginning of the most wonderful friendship. And I think that is the scene.
Yeah. God, these are delightfully kind of. Well, they're delightful people. They're delightful.
Yes.
Everyone's delightful.
Yeah. All right. So we return to the present, and so after kind of like reading the letter, Alexandra kind of like takes a sip, thinking back to those halcyon days in the garden, the tomfoolery, the shenanigans, so to speak, and she composed a reply. My dear Amy, heaven knows it's been far too long. And to be honest, I had not thought in such a long time to that day in the garden with poor Lucinda Bonds and that ravenous swan. But your letter brought me back good cheer. And to be honest, I do believe that good cheer should very well be should be shared with the world. I'm sure I would like to help your new venture in any way whatsoever. But, and as she's writing, she kind of looks and there's a poster of Lucinda Bonds still acting quite recently. This is a very recent poster. She's appearing at the Royal Albert Hall. Quite recent. And I think she says like, well, where I am at the moment, I'm quite happily ensconced. In fact, ensconced where I am. In fact, any sort of riveting tale you might have about myself and Lucinda, well, I dare say I would like the rest of the world to be part of it as well. And do send Harriette my regards.
Ooh.
And I do hope it won't be the last of any correspondence between ourselves. Yours, your dearest Alexandra.
Okay.
So what's the detail? Besides the swan, I guess.
While dressed as a man, she made the acquaintance of the Prince Regent and won £300 from him at poker.
That seems super legit. Yep. You definitely could do that. I'm on board.
That's so fab. All right. So, all right. Move on. I've already moved the tokens. Sophia, you're up. And David, you'll be playing this lover here. Okay. So, actually, I just realized the sister is not the one who's meant to be rolling the d8. It should be the lover.
Okay.
So, David, roll a d8. Would you kindly? You're muted.
That is an 8.
Hey, we meet Lindsay Evans.
Oh,
This will be
good.
fun.
I was so hoping I would get to date Lindsay.
Yeah, what are the odds? It would be you and Lindsay. All right. So, Sophia, what's the letter to Lindsay?
Well, let's see. Obviously, I'll need to use the pet name to figure one out. I think my pet name for Lindsay will be Ellie, after the first initial. Okay, so Ellie, my love, it's been far too long, hasn't it? I mean, I suppose it's only been months, but the days pass so quickly when you're bouncing around town and meeting people. And I mean, you know how it is with my husband. He's always buying things and taking me places, and it just seems like it's been, goodness, it feels like years. How long has it? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? However long it's been. Too long. And I've been reflecting on things and thinking I might like to write some memoirs of my many exploits. I do like to have a good adventure in many areas of life. And of course, I'd have to publish it anonymously on my part because, well, my husband, he wouldn't want any of this. But I would like to tell true stories. And since my time with you was so absolutely enchanting, I would really like to include it. And I already have some things in mind, but just as a courtesy, I thought I would write and say that if you really didn't want to be in it, I suppose I'd have to respect that. Although, of course, I'm sure you wouldn't mind sending me a little something as a token of that returned affection and such. But do be in touch. I can't believe it's been, at least 9 days now since we've seen each other. How the time passes. So I look forward to your speedy reply. We will be traveling around the countryside off and on, but I will make sure to check in whenever we get back to the manor and see if there is correspondence from you, my darling. Kisses.
Yeah, so I think we see Lindsay in sort of quite a big like music room. There's a piano against one wall, and there's various other instruments lined up, and sort of musical notation paper everywhere, and a big window letting in a lot of light. And I think Lindsay is in front of the window reading the letter, and a thoughtful look comes across their face, and then they sit down before the piano and sort of play a brief improvised piece, perhaps inspired by the letter.
Lovely.
All right. So where is this scene going to take place, Sophia? Beginning, middle, or end?
At the beginning.
Right. And roll a d4. Determine the focus.
I get a 3.
All right. So,
I don't want to share. I was so excited about this one. All right.
Oops.
What can you do? All right. So the 3 means that another sister is involved.
Yeah.
I'm zooming in on the document because somehow I got zoomed out and I can't see. Active sister chooses one of her relationships. This is the moment where it was formed. Both sisters and the active lover must appear in the scene. It's up to the active sister whether they appear at the same time, separately, or both. Oh, I see.
So it doesn't have to be. They don't have to be in the same place together. But
indeed, they do not.
Kind of has to be about, it kind of has to be about that relationship.
All right, let me see. I'm going to make the scene with Fanny. But it's not going to be both people at the same time. It's going to be foreshadowing further things down the line. I think it'll be setting things up for the relationship between Fanny and myself, as well as the beginning of the relationship between Lindsay and myself.
Okay.
So there's a public square, and to support their composing, which is not the most lucrative profession unless you happen to land a rather posh job, Lindsay improvises on piano in a little public area. And I'm walking along, sort of flouncing because I'm young and reckless and feckless and all that, and looking at things in shop windows, and I hear this melody that just grips me and slows me down, and almost nothing slows me down. So that's in and of itself a remarkable thing. And I find that I just have to go nearer to find out what this is. And the nearer I get, sort of the more I don't feel like myself almost. It's like the inner, I've forgotten my own name, the inner Sophia, who is underneath all the silliness, is being reached by the dulcet tones of Lindsay's music. So I'm going to approach the piano and stand respectfully near until the piece is done, and will incline my head towards Lindsay as he finishes to request his attention for a moment.
Yeah, and the piece comes to an end, and Lindsay stands to give a brief bow to the to those who've sort of gathered to listen. Is dressed in a kind of an elaborate wig, kind of almost like a sort of slightly outdated, French Revolution, well, just immediately pre-revolutionary France wig, quite curly and long with lots of bits going everywhere. Yes, a dark hole under the eyes, or around the eyes. Probably some lipstick on, and a big impressive cape that he swirls as he takes a bow. And yes, seeing
Sophia.
Seeing Sophia's interest, he will bow again to her and say, "Oh, why, good evening, my dear. My name is Lindsay Evans, and it is a pleasure to meet you. I hope that you are well this fine afternoon."
Lindsay Evans, is it?
Indeed so. I have the humble privilege of being that person.
Well, Lindsay, I don't know if you're acquainted with my family. My name is Sophia Wilson. You may know my husband, Harry. I mean, presumably not Wilson, right? That's odd. I'm married, but I still have my maiden name. And Harry, the famous rich man that I'm married to. You may have heard of him.
Oh, yes, indeed. I involved in some form of business or other, I believe.
Yeah, some sort of business. I don't really bother with those things. They're really trifling.
Oh, indeed.
Very little interest. He's a wonderful man. I'm a very lucky woman. But really, I have most things that I desire, at least available to me. And yet something about what you've played today has caught my attention in a way that is unfamiliar. And I'm prepared to offer you £300 to give me a private performance this evening.
Oh, why, of course, my dear lady. That would be a most enchanting proposition. I do so love to give private performances. One can truly reach the soul of the audience when they are only around. And and he'll kind of gesture around at the sort of this little sort of cafe tea shop that he's sort of, performing at, and say, and I can hardly turn down any paying work either. So your offer is a most generous sum, and I would be glad to accept.
I'm so glad you're agreeable. I agree that private concert is really the way to reach the soul and to go deep within your audience in so many ways. And we do have a grand piano in the foyer, and my husband's away on business, so shall I send a carriage for you this evening?
Oh, that would be most kind of you, my lady. I shall, of course, serve upon your convenience.
That is entirely kind of you. I'm intrigued by your music and other things. I think I have much to learn and observe, and I look forward to our evening together. I'll send a carriage for you at 7. Please give the address to the cafe owner, and I'll make sure it gets passed along to whoever it needs to. And I will expect you around 6:30 when the carriage arrives. There will be the piano, but of course, if you'd like to share a meal or, just get to know each other a bit, there's no rush. We have the whole evening ahead of us. So I will look forward very much to making your acquaintance further and hearing your beautiful music. So lovely to meet you. I must dash.
And I have been thoroughly enchanted, my lady. I greatly look forward to our evening together, and I am sure we shall make sweet music together.
I'm quite sure as well. I present my hand to be held and kissed.
Yes, I will. Will flamboyantly kiss the hand with another swish of the cloak.
Enchanté. Until this evening, then. So I trounce off, and I'm all in my head, sort of Twitter-pated about the whole thing. You know, this mysterious, coal-eyed, sort of enchanting rapscallion thing that I've found, and I'm going to import into my manor. And so I'm actually going to split the scene and flash forward a bit. I've had my first evening with Lindsay, who I, at this beginning stage, am quite convinced is actually probably like the love of my life, despite the fact that I'm already married. I'm completely intrigued by the sort of ambiguity of gender and the everything. And I decide to tell my sister about it. And I'm going to tell Fanny, who, just make sure that second youngest, kind-hearted, and dying. Yes. This is at a point where Fanny's already. We know she's sick.
Yeah, maybe
So,
just like kind of the beginnings of it.
and I'm concerned. So while I've generally been keeping my first encounters with Lindsay to myself, I decided that I would like for Fanny to get to hear some music. So I'm going to talk to Fanny.
Wow. I think we kind of like maybe. I'll go on. Yeah. Maybe like we just start in the middle of this conversation when you've kind of made that proposition.
Sure.
And
I'm just gonna come into your room and have a short conversation.
yeah, I think I think you've already told me that Lindsay's the love of your life, and I'm like, are you sure?
Fanny, you mustn't tell anyone. I mean, you know that I enjoy many experiences and dalliances, but there's something different. I don't quite understand. There's something about Ellie that just enchants me. And the music, it just takes me somewhere that I can't. But I know you haven't been so well lately, and I've been so concerned. And I think you mustn't tell our sisters, because I feel like this is a special thing, and I'm hesitant to even be telling you, but I'd like you to hear the music, because perhaps it could have some healing effect on you. I mean, it certainly transports me when I hear it. So would you allow me to bring Lindsay and yourself over to the manor some night for an engagement?
I think Fanny takes your hands into hers and says, Sophia, dearest, I don't think I've ever seen you like this. You're head over heels over someone, especially after all we've seen. This person must be incredibly special to you.
It's more than that. I mean, yes, very special and all of that. I just don't think there's anyone else like them in the whole world. And somehow I stumbled upon them just in the square. Isn't it amazing how these things happen? I mean, me, silly Sophia, right? Everyone thinks that I'm just this feckless young thing, and perhaps I am. But with Ellie, I'm different. There's something magical, something spellbinding, and I want you to experience it. I can't stand to see you ill.
Well, with a spiel like that, how can I say no? It's just... So, Sophia, remember what we do. Remember who we are. You are already married to someone, and I know that means not with what we do. But Very well. If this person is as you say they are, then how can I refuse?
Good. So you'll come then.
I want to meet this person who's brought such life to my darling sister.
And he'll bring such life to you as well, and that's what we need. We can't have you lying in bed all day. You're the heart of our whole family. I'll set it up right away. We'll do it this weekend. Absolutely. I'll make everything. All of your favorite foods will be there, and it'll just be the three of us, and it will be a beautiful thing. Our secret.
Our secret. I think she wants to say more, but you're kind of like said everything for her. So yeah, I'm grand with that.
So that's the scene.
Yeah. All right. So where am I? I'm scrolled away from the PDF. Oh no. We're turned to the present. So Lindsay.
My dearest Sophia. Indeed, it has been some few days since last we spoke, and your words always lift my heart and inspire me to flights of song. I think back often to that very first day we met and the symphony I composed that evening. A selfish part of me wants to keep that memory a secret still between the two of us, but I think you are right. We must let what we have shared soar and be heard by all, like I do with my music. So too do you with your words, and such pretty words they are. With the deepest affection, yours, Ellie.
I think Sophia's really in love with him. I didn't see this coming at all.
Yeah.
Like, I started off my request letter, whatever that's called, all flippant and whatever else, and then the scene played out, and I just got carried away. And
yeah, that's love for you.
I know.
What's the detail then? Right.
That's the thing. I don't even know that I'd want to write about it. I don't know. But,
I mean, you don't have to come up with an actual detail then, but
I think okay, this is the detail.
Ooh.
That on one of their nights together, they hired a painter to use body paints and paint a keyboard on her back. And he asked him to play her as he would a piano and to sing the melody that she inspired.
Wow. Wow. All right. So, all right, that's checked. Detail there. All right, we move tokens. So I take the sister token. It's now Fanny's turn, and Stephen, you'll take the lover token. Which kindly roll a d8. Yeah, that's a lot of names for that one.
Did someone finally land on my fellow? The name one. I actually have a friend named Tomlinson. I didn't make that name up. Very good.
Yeah. Tomlinson, I figured, is I've heard the name before. Like bloke from One Direction has the last name.
Really?
Yeah, Louis Tomlinson.
I'm not going to tell my friend Tom that one of the One Direction guys has his name.
All right, Stephen, you're playing Monsignor Tomlinson Ettiford Stevenson II, a wealthy raconteur, stylish, impeccable, and slightly oily. Ugh. Okay, so shit, I have to write this one. Sorry, I just got used to listening to everyone speaking. All right. My dear Tommy, no doubt it has been a while. since we last corresponded. I'd hope that a part of me still lives on within you. I apologize that, as always, when I write to a beloved, my words fly to the most ridiculous extremes, but I'd hope there's some affection for that. Although, as much as I would like to be otherwise, my reason for writing to you involves more than just mere affection. In fact, it involves our time together, dear Tommy. Involves a pressing need for myself and my family. You may have heard that our exploits in its many forms will be published soon, and if not, well, I'd hope you'd heard it from me then. In those exploits, I would. There will be none that there will be nothing I would try to hide, especially including our time out in the seas, where, well, I must. All I have to say is the words salted pork, and you, and I'm sure it'll conjure up a memory within you. Yes. Yes. I do not wish to write these words, but to make the point clear, if there's any help or any aid you can offer to myself, then these words need not fly out into the wider world. I hope this letter finds you in good health, and there may be more in the future, as quick as the future draws near. Yours, as always, Fanny Wilson.
The one senior receives this letter while he's at breakfast. You can hear the clock is just chiming 11 as his valet brings in the letter. He is sitting at the table, impeccably dressed, even though it is early in the morning and he has just arisen. And he receives the letter. He reads it. He reads it slowly, purses his lips. Then he reads it again, and sighs slightly. He folds it and he puts it in an inner breast pocket.
All right. Give it back. All right. So I think this is going to be in the middle. Curious what that looks like for someone like Fanny Wilson. And I'll roll this d4 because I never get to play outside of online games anymore, and these dice are going to waste. It's a shame. Roll it. Ooh, that's a 4. So that means that scene involves more than one lover. All right.
Right.
So the player to the left of the current lover, skip over the active sister, draws a lover sheet at random. That means you, Pearl.
Oh, how exciting!
Yeah. So
I
roll
D8. Is
D8.
that right? Okay.
Yeah. And if you roll 4 again, well, we'll just disregard that.
Okay. We are going to disregard that then.
Okay.
Why is it deep? Right. Let's try that again.
What's up? Is there like a lot of dice there, or
I've cleared it. So 3. I'm now 3. So
okay?
that's
Late.
sorry, right page thing.
So number 3.
Yes.
That's Lady Maria Kuznetsova. The
I have
trapeze.
to make sure not to just play her as Alexandra Hyde. I got very invested in Alexandra.
Well, she's an entertainer as well, so.
Well, and what's frustrating is she's clearly like Russian, and I want to do an accent, and it's going to be so bad if I do, and everyone's going to be really offended. But
Yeah,
like, I
you
feel
don't
like
have.
I have to do it. Like,
You don't have to.
she's a
Like,
trapeze flautist, for Pete's sake. She's probably not even Russian. In fact, I've decided, as of this moment, she
fine.
is faking her Russian heritage to enhance her stage appeal, and so her accent is bad because she is not actually Russian.
Fine with that.
That problem.
All right.
Okay.
So I have to. Yeah. All right. So if the lover has not appeared in a scene with the active sister before, I'll repeat the demand. Okay. All right. So I have to write a letter to Maria. Dear Mary.
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 Because this is way.
No, I was saying Mary because maybe she knows that Maria is not Russian. We're just calling her Mary.
Have my secrets.
All right. So, Dear Maria, which I know that's an emo song from the. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know the song. Dear Maria, I hope this letter finds you in good health. This is how Fanny starts all her letters these days. I hope this letter finds you in good health. In fact, I very much doubt you are in nothing more than the pinnacle of a person's physicality. After all, I could not imagine you in any other way. And I know our bond broke in the most torturous of ways. But I had hoped that in the time since, you, much like myself, would prefer to look before that. Before it all curdled. And those times we shared, those times where you showed me how a woman, how a person, how anyone could push themselves to the limit to show what someone can do with themselves. I'll never forget those. Including, of course, those times you showed me during in the middle of performance, even your time in the circus. Delightful times, but times that may very well find an audience out there in the public. And I know that in some way you're still performing, and I'd hope that these times will remain precious, even when should they become published. But I cannot help it. All we had were precious times, and that is all I have to give away. So you may have convinced me to change my mind in a way that'll make the future just a bit more comfortable. Yours, Fanny.
I don't know where I am when I receive this note. Right, this is a multiple lovers one, right? That was to me.
Yes.
Right,
That was
okay.
to you.
I think that she's gotten her own act. She's not traveling with the circus anymore. She's gotten her own act, and is just becoming a headliner. And it's still a bit precarious. And she receives the letter one night and is fuming because right when she's hitting the big time, there is this complication. She reads it, and she reads it again. She puts it face down on the table, and she spits to the side, and she says, "This will not go unanswered."
All right, so let's flash back. I think. Hold on, let me check something. Yes, so I think for this one, while this is the middle of Dear Tommy's, I think this is the end of the relationship with Lady Maria.
You did allude to it being like some horrible ending.
Yes, not too horrible. I think it's just it's a bit of a blow up between the two. I think okay. I think this is after the aforementioned cruise or voyage into sea that Fanny and Tommy Tomlinson shared. And there were some good times, but maybe a cruise was not good for Fanny's health. And I'm thinking that maybe Monsignor is taking me back home as I'm kind of like coughing and shivering, and Lady Maria is already there, knowing that Fanny went off on this cruise when she probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, and I've taken off my coat and I've put it on Fanny. So this is one of the very rare occasions when I'm not properly dressed, which is how you can tell that I'm very concerned about her health.
And I think Fanny say like, "No, it's fine. We had a wonderful time. You don't need to look after me on my account. We had a wonderful time, Tommy. I don't want this to be kind of like the ending of our day."
Fanny, please do take care of yourself. Surely a little hot chocolate will not be amiss.
Hot chocolate. That sounds quite mundane for you, Tommy.
Oh, my valet James. He makes the most exquisite hot chocolate. Contains just a touch of vanilla. He's a wizard. I tell you, an absolute wizard. If you have never had his hot chocolate, you must. It is the most pleasurable experience that one can imagine, outside of course.
I think we're kind of coming into the manor, and from you and Lady Mary can probably hear our voices, and Fanny's going like, well, our voyage was indeed divine, but if you say your valet is their workings would come close to that. I would not seek to deny you, Tommy, but I assure you I'm fine. But if you insist.
I do insist, Fanny. You are delicate. You are too delicate. You must take more care. I worry about you, dear Fanny.
I, I thank you for your word, Tommy, but I've had quite enough worry for a good chunk of my life, and it was just, out in the seas, just taking in that air, taking in your presence, taking in all that salt. It was a good adventure, and I rarely have any of those. I'll take a week of recovery and weakness for days like those.
Yes, but I worry, Fanny, that someday a week will not be enough. Your candle burns bright, Fanny, but I'm afraid it will not burn for long. I have a horrible premonition, Fanny. Do take care.
I think we're kind of entering the drawing room as we're still talking,
Yes.
and probably Lady Maria's already waiting there. I don't know if she's worried, but she
I'm
does
trying to.
see. Oh, go on.
I'm not entirely clear on where in our. So this is the end of our relationship, and you've been off on a
Yes,
cruise with somebody else.
yes,
Okay.
and I'm clearly sick and shouldn't have gone on a cruise. And then I walk into this drawing room where you're probably waiting with this raconteur, trying to act all kind. He is acting all kind, but you don't know that. Um, you only know Monsignor Tomlinson Eddie Ford Stevenson II.
Ah, I see you have returned at last.
Yes, Lady Maria. I'm afraid Fanny has taken a bit of a chill.
Yes, I do think with someone in her condition to go on such a boat is not the wisest choice, but perhaps not all of us care for her the same way.
Oh,
Yeah.
But Fanny, if you prefer the company of this Tomlingford, Eddington, the whatever, and
Maria,
his
please.
boats and his salty seas and
I,
his sickness making trips, I cannot
Maria,
watch you. I cannot watch you waste away while I stay
Maria,
here
Maria,
alone.
this is no time to quarrel. Can't you see how delicate she is?
Can't you see how delicate she is? You would have the death of her on your boat to take her from me. I will not sit here and play the fool while you take the woman I love and poison her with your seafaring ways. I take my leave and my
No,
fleet. Goodbye.
Maria, no.
I have loved you greatly. I will never forget you. You will never see me again. And I exit very dramatically.
I think I'm kind of looking where you left. I feel really cold. And I kind of draw the coat closer and I just say,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm, I'm, I'm sorry you have to see that. I didn't.
And I kneel down and I take your hand and I am sorry to have cost you a friend. I can see that she is quite dear to you, but very passionate. I am sure that she will come back to you.
I hope so. I
Yes,
hope. I hope it
yes.
doesn't.
I have known Russian women. They are very temperamental, but they soon their passion is their fury is soon spent, and I'm sure she will be sweet and affectionate again.
She, she said she loved me, Tommy. You think that was true, or was that just passion?
My dear Fanny, how could anyone know you and not love you?
Mhm.
I think we can end there. Oh,
You did
all
well
right.
for the record.
All right. So the decision. Um, let's go first to Miss Senior Tommy.
Yes. And dear Fanny, of course, if you are ever in need of assistance, you know that as your friend, I am always willing to be of help. I am sorry that you are unwell, and this is no time for you to worry about trivial details of money. I have instructed my banker to send a draft to your account, and please believe that I remember you with the greatest fondness and affection. Yours, Tommy.
We had the bad luck of the dying one drawing the raconteur, so we can't help
And I
but
was
be.
like,
Yeah. So he's paid.
bit
So he's
odd.
paid up. So.
She's so sweet and nice and lovely, but she's also like extorting money from all these men and women. Like, just a bit odd.
Well, you do what you have to do. So yeah, so that means Tommy is no longer in the pool. If this was played IRL, we would throw it and stamp it on the ground. Apparently, no, we just just rip it apart. So
Burn
I'm
it.
gonna
Elaborate curses.
so I'm just gonna blot it out. Let's see if this works. There we go. Deep dark gray. Lady Maria, your response.
Oh, Fanny. When last we saw each other, I confessed my true feelings and then I left because I could not stand to see you in the arms of another, wasting away without my affections. And now, just as I have begun to heal from the heartbreak of leaving you and to build a career for myself in which I could try to fill the gaping hole within me that was left with your absence, I received this letter. It is not enough that you spurn my affections for Tomlington, Ettingford the 17th, or whomever. It is not enough that you take your beautiful body and soul away from the nourishing ground and off to the ocean to become more ill when you are already sick and force me to watch you waste away to nothing. But now you also would ask for me to pay you not to reveal the sweet tenderness that was between us to the vulgar eyes of the public. Is it not enough that I put myself out every night on my trapeze with my flute and I perform like a dancing monkey just to get by here, but to have my innermost, tenderest memories put out like a spread of caviar before swine? I truly thought my affections were returned, but it is clear that if you would do this to me, that my true and undying love for you was unrequited. And if that is the case, and there was no truth to it anyway, then publish what you like. I will not expect to hear from you again. Yours, Masha.
All right. I think the detail that Fanny publishes is it's quite sweet, but I don't know if Regency Times had safety regulations. and this was probably like early in her relationship, but I think Lady Maria showed Fanny the ropes in the sense that she got her up there in the trapeze, and actually like with the most care let her like try and swing for like when she probably shouldn't have. Like, you don't bring non-circus performers up there.
I've done that in real life. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah. Maybe not at these times, but like, yeah. Jeez. Okay, so we've done a full cycle with all the sisters. Why don't we like take a more sizable break than we had, if that's all right with y'all? Maybe like 10 minutes.
Hear that, live audience? It's a good time to go get yourself a refreshing Coca-Cola product. We'll be right back with you in 10 minutes. You're muted, darling.
God damn it. I was saying you can scrub ahead if you're watching this on demand.
Yes.
All right. BRB. 10 minutes.
I am the slowest to figure out how to turn the camera off. So now you're just looking at me. No, seriously though, I feel a bit embarrassed that it takes me a bit with all the tech. Sorry, viewing audience. I'm working on it just for you. I see at least one of us is back, other than me. But only in video, not in audio. So I don't know why I actually came back. Oh, look, there's another one. Hooray.
Hello. Yeah,
You are muted.
not anymore, hopefully. Hello.
And I don't
Hello.
know.
Okay, cool.
Maybe you're not muted. Sorry.
All right. I need to figure out like how the lighting works in this room because I look. What the hell? What the hell do I even look like? Let's see. Oh, there we go.
There we are. All right.
Oh, well, this fell off. That probably was not meant to happen.
What is that?
I have no idea. Some sort of hook thing.
Eh.
I'll deal with that later. Some light here. Well, that's fine. It's fine. There we go. Sorry, I spent my time in college working on radio. I don't know how blocking or visual media works. Well, no, I'm not that ignorant, but yeah. And then I do not expect to spend a lot of my days in front of a camera where people might see this. I know for a fact that the designers are going to be watching this probably.
What's funny is I have the opposite, where I'm very used to being in front of cameras and on stages and things, but because I like didn't know what day it was and signed up for this. Oh, David, camera not working on. But like I signed up for it just based on the description, and the 27th sounded like it was far away. And then it turned out it was like 2 hours later, so I haven't slept. It was at 7 a.m. my time, 7 in the morning my time, and I was about to go to bed when I saw, and I was just like, oh, I'd like to play that game. And so as a result, I feel like I'm much less, like usually I'm much more aware of aesthetics in general. And I feel like my dress is like falling off half the time, and I'm just like trying to hide it with a like I don't even know what's going on. And like this is not the professional performer side of me at all. Like what am I doing? I'm putting on purposefully horrendous Russian accents, and like I don't even know. I don't know what's happening anymore.
Well, we're not here to perform to an audience, really. We're here to have fun. And honestly, most of the time, most of partially why people record this, well, why I record this is mainly because, sometimes it's nice for people to watch a game so that they'd have an idea of how it runs. And like if you look in the document in this game, there's like 2 links to 2 videos. I'm actually in one of them.
I might watch that one. See how we play otherwise.
Oh, it was.
You said it was heartbreaking, right?
Yeah. Oh, it ended It ended heartbreakingly. Yeah. I quoted Baudelaire at some point.
Oh, fancy.
There was also the moment where the rakish, roguish scoundrel was charmed into kindness by the dying one. You can't play Fanny. We found out that I thought you couldn't, but we found out there is an ambiguity. I love that bit with Maria. Kind of like
I've written in my own heartbreak for my character by assigning Fanny to be the one I give up everything to, and then legit falling in love with one of the other characters and introducing them. I have like written in my own demise. Like this game is gonna rip me apart, and like I'm probably gonna get legit emotional. I have personal circumstances having to do with people I care about dying in music and things that I stay away from, and I instead wrote them really directly into my like central plot of my life. So I'm just gonna roll with it, and
remember, like at any point people can all the world to stage.
So much
players. Yeah, perish the world. All right, so let's keep going on with the. Well, I don't know if Harriette Wilson will have much heartbreak in her life, since she's up next. And the lover token was with Stephen. Skips you, Pearl, because you were also a lover in the scene, so it comes back to me. I'll roll a D. You can actually roll a D7 on this roll for your party room, actually, which is very convenient.
I would like to state for the record that I do not object to somehow consistently playing secondary lovers who are flamboyantly like ridiculous and who barge in to just make scenes impossible for everyone else. Like that's like the second or third time that's happened where I just happened to be the second lover because of the role. And I don't mind giving up my main lover scenes to be someone who is just a caricature. I don't know.
No, we did get that point in the game we played where it's like, you know what, we have enough lovers, we can probably like continue with the ones we've already interacted. I might do that actually to this, so you don't have to keep introducing new people because we have done an entire turn. And
I haven't even. I guess we shouldn't be like discussing this during gameplay, but I am curious as to who we haven't even gotten to. We haven't gotten to Madame Lily Shang, or Charles Morton, or Dr. Oliver Cox.
Well, I rolled a 2, so we probably will get to Dr. Cox.
Okay. All right.
Perfect.
Oliver Cox.
So, I think the letter reads, Dear Dr. Cox, I do hope that you are keeping in good health. I just the other day, I have started writing my memoirs, you see, and as I was going through my things to my old journals and the like, I found some of those initial sketches for the modelling work I did for you for that anatomical study, and it brought you back to my mind, and I thought of those long hours we spent in your study. I, of course, trust that you will not object to featuring in my memoirs the time we spent together. Holds a special place in my my heart, and of course, if you feel that appearing in my my publication would impact negatively upon your own fine works, I would be happy to redact your name from any discussions on the on our long scientific studies together, and of course, if such is the case, then I might prevail upon you to assist in whatever way you can with the publication of these books. I hope that you two remember our time fondly. Yours ever, Harriette Wilson.
And I think this letter, which again is comes in glorious Harriette Wilson décolletage, so to speak. It reaches Dr. Oliver Cox at his office. It's old, but it's been his faithful place of work for years. Harriet's probably acquainted with it in more ways than one. And I think as he kind of reads this letter and his face goes somber and more somber. And you see like he has nice long hair, but in this time, in the present day, you can see like hair thinning back a bit. And he's reading it, and his eyes kind of flicker to, his I wouldn't say his masterpiece, but the tome that made his name, like studies into the philosophy of anatomy. And yeah, I think that's the name. And he wonders, he ponders, he sighs, and he reaches for his copy of the book, starts flicking, and he knows exactly which pages have those sketches. But of course, in the version of the book, could be anyone. But the two of them know otherwise. All right. So, where is this relationship going to be? Where in the relationship in this flashback?
I think that actually maybe at the beginning, because I've not done a beginning yet.
Can roll d4. Please.
That's a 3.
Oh dear. So no, it's a this relationship involves a lover, but it's really about the relationship between the sisters. Sorry, Dr. Cox.
One of those ones.
So which relationship do you want to see?
Damn it. Ideally, I would have liked to see Fanny with this one, but alas, that won't work out. So I think...
I mean, it could work out. It's just we're not going to be in the same scene. I'm not going to talk to myself. I refuse to do that.
Oh, no, that's true, actually, because it doesn't...
I'm not doing that.
Fine.
It doesn't have to... because you don't have to be in the same scene. So I actually can... Yeah, I will do that then, I think. Because, you know...
Okay.
Because you have plans for Fanny.
I think... so yeah, I think the scene, the scene we'll start off with will be I want to say like a kind of a sorry, I lost the word I was looking for. Like a sort of I suppose a ball, but not like a really fancy one. A sort of, you know, a sort of afternoon dance type thing, sort of assembly room sort of thing. So, you know, a proper place for people to sort of meet up and you know, get to know one another, etc. And I think we see Harriette talking to somebody at the side of the room, and she then approaches Dr. Cox.
I think Dr. Cox looks he looks fine, but you, who's a social maven, can probably tell that he's a bit ill at ease at a ball. He's a proper nerd, and he's holding his glass. He's looking at he's holding the glass like, you know, casually. You can tell that grip is tight.
Forgive my intrusion. I'm led to believe that you are Dr. Cox, the renowned doctor and anatomist. Is that true?
Forgive me, my lady. I did not even know I had a reputation worth remarking on. But yes, that is indeed my name. I am Dr. Oliver Cox. Who do I have the pleasure of meeting?
My name is Harriette Wilson, Miss Harriette Wilson, and it is an absolute delight to make your acquaintance, Dr. Cox. And she will sort of curtsy.
Well, delighted to meet your acquaintance as well, my lady. So you know of my work. I would have presumed that such tomes would be, well, I wouldn't have thought they would have found purchase with the wider public, but it seems I'm mistaken.
Oh well, I've spoken to a few people in the field, and they speak very highly of you.
Well, I would not want to disappoint these friends of yours. Then, to what do I owe your acquaintance, Miss Wilson?
Oh, I just wish to meet you, and I do like to meet new people in town, and
Well, it just so happens that I'm quite new in town, Miss Wilson, and he's trying to act like suave, but he's brushing back his long, stupid hair. No, not stupid. No, long hair is fine, but his hair is long, probably longer than it should be for this time period. But yeah, he's kind of brushing back because saying like, well, I am quite new in town, Miss Wilson. I think that's quite clear to anyone with eyes here. And so I would not mind some gentle company.
of course, if you would like, I would be more than happy to join you in a dance, or we could simply go for a walk around the gardens if you would rather something more sedate.
I think when you say dance, he takes a drink, and he says, I fear I don't have the disposition for a dance at the moment. A walk sounds heavenly, Miss Wilson.
Very well. I thought you might be more comfortable around balls, Doctor. But of course, we can take a stroll together. It would be most enlightening, I'm sure. I do have some questions of an anatomical nature that perhaps you can give me some assistance with. And I think that's where we sort of see that scene fade out.
I think when you say anatomical, his eyes widen, not for scientific reasons. When he says anatomical, it's like, oh, it's like if you come to me and say, hey, let's talk about Kingdom Hearts, I'd be like, oh. So it's kind of like that.
I was thinking you'd be more comfortable around balls, doctor thing intentional. I just have to know. Like that.
Yeah.
I accidentally said something similar to that. Student I used to teach music lessons and will again when life straightens out. And there was a piece called At the Ball or something. And I had like a 10-year-old student and her dad in the room. And she was like, I don't like this piece. And I was like, what are you talking about? Everyone likes balls.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh God. So I don't know. Just wondering. Good job. Excellent.
Well, we still have to bring in Fanny, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I think we'll fade in on another scene. It's back at the Wilsons' house. And I think we see Harriette sat at Fanny's bedside with, probably not feeding her soup, but, having brought her some soup. She says, I'm awfully sorry, Fanny dearest. I have been speaking with as many doctors as I can find, and
Is I've heard that you were speaking. Yes, I've heard of it. I heard you were speaking to a doctor at the ball recently. That doesn't seem like you.
Well, I thought perhaps they might he might have some. He's supposed to be very good. Has a very thorough knowledge of all sorts of modern medical procedures, and I thought maybe he might know something that could help you.
Well, that would be lovely. But what was he like? Come on, Harriet. You don't. I know the type of people you
Oh,
speak to in balls.
he he was very sweet. A little uncomfortable to be there, I think, but
Well, I hope for once, Harriet, you treat him as sweetly as they treat you. He sounds kind.
he is, I think. But I've offered to help him out with something he's working on, and well, if we can find anything that might be of help to you, then
Well, thank you, but I'm sure you can multitask, Harriet. If you can find something, that would be great. But take care of yourself as well. Um, don't just don't just do what you do and get involved with people for ulterior reasons. This doctor, try to meet him where he is. If not for him, then for me.
of course, Fanny, if that's what you think best. I do care for you an awful lot. You know that.
I know you and Amy and Sophia never have to say it, but I know.
Cool. Yeah, and I think that's seen.
Right.
Aw. You're teaching her how to love.
Yeah. Sorry, if you give me a dying character, I just like get sickly and treacly.
That's the official role, right? Taught her how to love, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks. After the flashback, we return to the present, and the lover is reading the letter, and he's flicking at the textbooks, and yeah, he's centered at the sketch, and he writes back and says, "Miss Wilson, I profess that yet again I can still be shocked by your actions and your insinuations. I guess it was not enough that, well, it was not enough that for most of when we knew each other, I did not realize that I was simply being strung along. And I do not need to hear any more explanations, because I think, Miss Wilson, that with this I've come to know you all too well.
Mm.
And here we are. You striking me at a point where you know I can't recover. So fine. Take this pittance, take this coin, and well, we may, and let this be the last that I have to hear from you or anyone of your kind. Miss Wilson, yours, Dr. Oliver Cox. So yeah, he's paying you. Let me blot that
All
out.
right.
All right. Since we are kind of pressed for time, because I said we were up to 4 hours and we are like 40 minutes left, and I'm kind of doing what we did in the game we ran in Gauntlet Con, wrong color, is that I am just gonna blot out the other two lovers we've not seen, and we are just gonna roll a d4 between the four we have left. And if we don't have enough time to like trigger the end state when we get there, we will just do a final scene as said in the game, depending on who's up next, on whose turn is it. Is that okay, folks?
Yeah, so we're getting rid of Charles Morton and Madame Lily Shang.
Yeah, I think I kind of realized we probably should have just made less lovers, but
That's okay. I'm quite attached to Masha and Alex and Lindsay anyway, so
yeah, exactly.
I'm happy to stick with them.
All right. Okay, so we move tokens, and Amy's up next, and David, you're the lover this time. So roll a d4, Steven.
That's a 3. So
Oh no, I said. Oh, sorry. Sorry, it wasn't Steven meant to roll d4. It is David. Sorry, that's my bad. Well, you roll d4 later when you folks in the scene, but
so that is Alexandra.
ooh, oh, we get to see another person take on Alexandra.
I wanted to play her again.
Well, the fun thing is that Amy doesn't have to write a letter again. This time, we just get to see the end of their relationship. Because that's the only one left. Is that okay with you, Steven?
Yeah, that's fine. I was just taking a quick look at the rules. So yes, right. Okay, so roll a d4, and that is a 3.
Even her ending is bottled up with a sister nonsense.
Oh, Sophia, you took what should have been mine.
Oh,
Right. Oh, I have to take Alex. Alex is my own character in my mind. I have to steal her away. But I guess who would know better how to do it then?
Yeah.
All right.
So we just go to the scene since there's no demand.
Okay.
So Amy.
Yeah, and let's see. It's the end of the relationship. So, and
For
I
you.
think
That makes sense. Okay.
And I think this takes place in her dressing room, and we have just we have made love after one of her performances, and we are just we're there. There's like this pile of costumes underneath us, forming this makeshift cushion, and we are just lying in each other's arms. And sort of we're sort of drowsy and cuddling.
Well, I do rather think that deserves a second standing ovation of the evening.
Oh, I don't think I can stand at the moment, dear, but yes, I completely agree. You are wonderful.
Oh, I know, my dear, I know. You're not bad yourself either.
I shouldn't say such a thing, but I am so glad that you dropped Harriet. I want you all to myself. All.
Oh, well, yes, of course, my dear. I mean, she was. She's, you know, I won't say she doesn't have her charms, but no, we quite packed that whole thing in, the two of us.
I shouldn't say such a thing about my own sister, but she has always tried to upstage me. As an artist, I'm sure you understand. I mean, I am the oldest sister. I should be first among the sisters, shouldn't I? That is only natural.
Of course, and it's such a terrible shame that she carries on the way she does. As you say, you are the oldest and well, I mean, you certainly had me first anyway, so you know.
Yes, if I know that you have other lovers, dearest, but not my sisters. That is all I ask. That is all I will ever ask of you. And I think that's where this scene ends. And I will let you frame the next scene with Sophie. Because I think we can both see where this is needed.
I have some ideas, but it's your sister scene, so
Yeah.
So
Right. Well, I mean, that's the two of you decide how it is that I discover this.
I think after Ellie has been sort of ceded to Fanny, because that's the ultimate sacrifice, right? That only someone as flamboyant as Alex could possibly keep my attention, which means that I will go after it, is my guess. So my thought is that I've seen Alex with Amy and like just swooped in, essentially.
Maybe it's like at the family home,
Yes.
In the parlor.
And I know that Amy's like jealous side makes her insecure and whatever, and that I can just be like flighty and charming, and I'm going to take advantage of it to sort of take over the room, as it were. Which is a jerk move. Sorry, but you know, I'm heartbroken and whatnot. I sent my great love to serenade my sister. So, all right. So, you must be the Alex that everyone's been speaking about.
And you must be Sophia, isn't it?
Yes, the youngest.
Well, quite. You are a vivacious little thing, aren't you?
I mean, in a house like this, one has to just try to keep up, don't you think?
Indeed. Even in a bouquet of gorgeous flowers, one must stand the tallest, I suppose.
Well, all I can do is try. I mean, to live in the shadow of such wonderful sisters, I know you've gotten to know two of them intimately already, and I just, I can only imagine that to have captured their attention, you must be quite the lady.
Oh, only when I absolutely must be. But
Somehow I very much doubt that. But as I am the youngest and, still just trying to sort things out, I would be grateful for the company of such an accomplished and charming woman such as yourself. I'm sure I could learn so very many things.
well, I did rather make a promise to your sister, but I suppose as
She
long
won't
as we're
mind.
as
She's
long
just
as we're
the loveliest woman. I'm sure she would never hold
well,
you
as
to
as long as
anything.
we're discreet, I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Oh, discretion is my middle name. Don't worry about it at all. Just a little bit of time together. There's nothing wrong with it. I had been spending time with this composer who taught me many things. But it turned out that one of my other sisters needed his special everything that he was more than I did. And so as I have had to move away from that, perhaps my other sisters might do the same, and all of us can learn from all of the wonderful people we meet. And I know that I have much, much more to learn in the arts and in all aspects of life, really.
Well, I would be happy to at least give you a little tuition, as it were. I am no composer, of course, but well, I have been known to hit high C on the right circumstances.
Well, I mean, I'd love to explore the many ways that could be brought out. Perhaps I could learn to sing a bit myself as well.
Yes, I think I would quite like to hear that.
Well, then we have an accord, and I'm so sure that Amy won't mind. She gets a bit blustery, but she just wants what's best for all of us, and I'm the baby of the family, and of course need a little extra help now and again. I'm sure she'd be glad. Would you want to come round the manor this weekend? My husband's away on business.
Of course, my dear. That would be most delightful.
Oh, I'm so happy to have made your acquaintance finally after hearing so many wonderful things, Alex. Perhaps we can run your lines for that Romeo and Juliet performance that I've been hearing about. I'd be happy to help out.
Of course.
Well, I don't think we need to say anything more now. We'll have plenty of time this weekend, just the two of us. And for now, I'll leave you with Amy. I wouldn't want to, monopolize the room by any means. And I have, much to do. My husband will be back sometime next week for a day or two, and I should fuss around for something for him, I'm sure. So I'll leave you two, but look very much forward to making our acquaintance further this weekend. It's so lovely to meet you, Alex.
And you as well, my dear. And I think she will kind of, do the kissing both cheeks thing.
Yes. And I will walk slowly out of the room with one last look over my shoulder before I go through the doorway.
And then I think on Saturday, Amy is takes the carriage to make a call on Sophia, her dear sister,
Oh dear.
and she sees Alexandra entering the house. I mean, as her carriage approaches, she sees Alexandra, and she signals for the driver to keep moving, to drive on.
Oh, I'm
Scene.
sorry, Amy. I was heartbroken. I really wanted Ellie the whole time. Fanny was dying, and I just couldn't. Oh dear.
Yeah, well, we saw the Sophia we thought we'd see. Speaking of Sophia, yeah, your turn as the sister.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's been a while since I've actually played me.
Yeah, because it feels like a while because people kept tagging me for relationship stuff.
Right. So do we have a decision scene here or not?
No, I think that was just to fill up one of the relationship parts, really.
So the decision only happens when it's the first time a sister after it's the first time a sister has that particular lover. So
yeah,
it's like okay.
Yeah, because they've already decided. So
right.
Yeah. Like I think I decided for when Amy. Yes, I had Alexandra when last time Amy was with her. Okay. So I'm already forgetting how where the play goes. Oh, yes. Roll a d4, Sophia.
I did, and I got 3.
Oh shit. This is it. We've reached the end game. Unless you know.
Wait, am I? Is 3 now Alex again?
Yes.
You had a 4?
1. Yeah.
Only we've just finished with Alex, or do I play the last scene with Alex?
So what happens? Okay, so here's what happens. Continue taking turns until either a lover is drawn that's complete a beginning, middle, and end, which is what you did. So yeah, we have this is we're gonna go into the final scene, basically.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we got there. Yeah, I know the dice can just like get you to the end, and there's some unfinished stories over there.
There's so much more going on with Lindsay. I've been waiting for this whole time, but okay.
Let's see. I'm looking at the time. We have like half an hour left, kind of in the time I allotted for this.
Well, so if I rolled the 3, am I doing a last scene with Alex?
Yes.
Okay. And Alex is being played by
Steven.
Steven. Okay.
Everyone got to play Alex then, which is amazing. All right. So the final scene takes place in the present day. The past and present collide as the active sister and the lover who triggered the game's end meet face to face. The memories of the past loom over them like a canopy of stars. Have hearts hardened, or does tenderness still linger? This final scene is framed by the active sister. If she desires, she may include other sisters as well. Do not follow the normal process for this scene. Simply frame the scene when everyone is ready. So, Sophia.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Responsibility.
We'll be back in a second. This door is annoying me. Just close it. All right. Sorry about that.
As a lover who triggered the game's end meet face to face. So it's me and Alex. It's a weird final scene because she's not really my true love.
Oh, that's bitter.
But she's as close as I'm going to get as long as Ellie's with Fanny. So I think this is sort of a weird dual scene. I think that I'm with Alex and we can hear Ellie playing piano for Fanny in another room in the manor. And
Fanny's probably the one sister who didn't get involved with Alex.
I don't know that she could have kept up with Alex. But yeah, so okay, who's Alex with me?
I'm playing Alex.
Okay. And so Fanny and I would like, if I'm allowed to make this choice, then for also Ellie to be sort of in a scene in the background that will be determined based on how this first bit plays out. But so Alex and I are sort of lounging in bed, like post-coital just bliss or whatever, and have been sort of just idly chatting as lovers do, when all of a sudden we hear a strain of music coming from the next room, and Alex asks me about it, and I've never told Alex about Ellie. So that's what this scene is going to be. And then at some point I'd like to transition to like somehow passing Ellie in the hall and having like a final look or touch of hands. But starting off with being asked about what the music is, if possible.
Yes. Oh, that music. That is absolutely lovely. One of your sister's lovers, I presume?
I suppose it is. Lovely, certainly. And I can only imagine that it would inspire any woman to feelings of not just lust, but love, I think. Wouldn't you say?
Musicians can be cruel.
Actresses as well.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But this musician, actually, I do happen to know, and cruel is the very opposite. Ellie's nature is foreign, but made of beauty, wild, spellbinding beauty.
Oh, you'll make me jealous, darling.
Wow. I mean, no one can keep up with the likes of you, Alex. I think we've all experienced your vigor for life and other things.
Oh.
Ellie is a different sort. It's like the two of you come from opposite planets. You're combusting while he is gathering in the stars.
I've heard that opposites attract.
Well, I'm afraid that if anyone has Ellie now, it's Fanny. And God forbid she lose him. I worry for her, you know.
Fanny. She is the placid one, isn't she?
She's sweet, but she's ill. And that's
yes.
why I've had Ellie play for her. If anyone can heal her, it's through Ellie's music, but it means he doesn't play for me anymore. But that's fine because that's allowed me to spend time with you, and I'm very happy.
Oh yes, this Ellie. It sounds like he deserves some kind of a reward, don't you think?
A reward? What do you have in mind?
For his kindness to your poor sister. Surely, you don't think that she satisfies him, do you? A passionate nature such as his?
Well, I think if he needs any reward, he knows where to look, my darling.
You aren't jealous, are you?
I have no need to be jealous.
Exactly. Exactly.
You may outshine me in beauty and in your acting skills and charisma and flamboyant personality, but you'll never hear Ellie's music the way that I do, and so I'm not threatened. But I'm also here with you because I'm choosing to be. Because for Fanny, I would give anything. And I've given up Ellie. And I've found something else that can make my heart sing. And that's you, you lovely thing. So let's not talk of this anymore. And let us just enjoy being together here with such sweet music, bringing us to tears.
Of course, my dear. I didn't mean to upset you.
That's quite all right. Just hold me close a bit and let's listen, shall we?
Yes. Oh. Yes, that is lovely music.
Yes. And I think there we just sort of curl up in an embrace for a while, and Alex falls asleep, and Ellie quietly slips out to listen to more music in the hall. And then the music stops, and Fanny has fallen asleep. And Ellie comes out into the hall, also having slipped away, and they see each other after having been essentially parted. And this is their final interaction as well.
Yeah,
You ready, Ellie?
Yeah, I think that wraps it up really nicely. I don't always find it awkward to close a game, but yeah, after the scene ends, the game is over, and after the game is done, I'll give everyone a moment or two to shed their characters, and then we'll talk. We'll do a bit debrief, but we'll do that off the broadcast. I'm going to stop this broadcast, but for anyone watching, thanks very much.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, to everyone here involved, thanks so much. That was fantastic on all cylinders. Thanks to Haley and V from Story Brewers. I know you're watching this.
Thanks for your awesome game. We love it.
Yeah, no, it's great. Anyone who wants to play it, links down below.
Play
It's free as well, so check it out. Yeah, all right. I'll stop the podcast then. Goodbye, YouTube.
Thanks, everyone.